Welcome to It Happened in Grand Prairie, Texas, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that have made history in our city and are continuing to work at it today. This is our history tape number 592, and this is the magic date of February the 26th, 2007. We are very, very honored today because we are still celebrating Black History Month on this television show, and we have a gentleman that is more than qualified to bring us some exciting news, not only about himself, but about the people that he worked with. And it is just a delight for me to bring you a very special young man, Mr. Calvin Harrison. Calvin, welcome to the set, sir.
Well, thanks for having me, Miss Jackson. It's such an honor to be with you this morning.
Yes, it is, and it's an honor for us to have you here because now we've interviewed you and your wife in the past, probably 6 or 7 years ago, when you were first starting out as I believe, as a principal at another place other than where you're located now. But all of that's in the past. That's already in the can. We have a wonderful history of the two of you together. But now, singly, you have really brought some great attention to the city of Grand Prairie, Texas, and especially to the Grand Prairie Independent School District. Now, before we get into why you're really here and all of the good things we're going to talk about, I'd like for you to set the stage. There may be new people that watch our show that didn't catch your other show, and they don't know about the real Calvin Harrison. And I want them to know a little bit more. So if you would take us on a little history trip, would you do that for us today as we document your history and tell us about Calvin, where he was born? I would like for you to name your parents and your mother's maiden name and tell me where you were born. A little bit about that.
Okay, sure. I was born in Dallas, Texas
All right.
in 1959
All right.
and moved to Grand Prairie.
All
My
right.
parents was Aaron and Merle Young,
Yes.
and hardworking people,
Yes.
and lived in Grand Prairie all of my life.
Yes.
Attended Dalworth Elementary School at the time. It was
Yeah.
Dalworth High School. You know, we went through desegregation and
Yes.
had David Daniels as a principal.
All right. Now, let's get back to Dallas. Was your first schooling experience in Grand Prairie or in Dallas?
In Grand Prairie.
Oh, in Grand Prairie.
In Grand
What
Prairie.
brought your parents from Dallas to Grand Prairie, Texas?
Well, my parents was already living in Grand Prairie.
Oh, they were.
I was just born in Dallas.
Oh,
Yes.
you were really born in Grand Prairie, and they sent you to the hospital over there to do all
Yes.
that good stuff.
Yes, I did.
We're going to call you a native Grand Prairian,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
I would consider myself that.
Oh, that is great. And what did your parents do? What did your dad do for a living?
Well, my father was a truck driver,
All right.
and my mother worked at the cleaners at Reno Cleaners.
At Reno
With
Cleaners.
Renos all of her life, and up until about 15 years ago,
Yes.
and she went to Blesso Company in Grand Prairie.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? And your dad is a truck driver. Was he gone a lot, or did he drive locally?
No, he was gone a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
he's passed now. It's been
Yeah.
about 20 years.
Yes.
But he was gone a lot. He was super in our lives, though.
How did he influence your life particularly?
He was hardworking,
Oh, yeah, good.
and he believed in doing things right.
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
Let's
I
name
have,
them.
Murtis Moffitt.
Okay.
She's my oldest sister, and I have another sister next to her, Pamela Young,
Yes.
and my youngest brother is Aaron Young,
Aaron.
Jr.
All right. That is wonderful. Now, do you see them often?
I do quite often.
Where did you fit in that pattern? Were you the older, or
I'm the oldest.
you are the senior member of that family
I had to
of
take
children?
the helm.
Yes, you did. Were you a good influence for them?
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so because my mother wouldn't have had it any other way.
Yes, she would have put her foot down, wouldn't she?
Yes, she would. She
Okay.
still does to this day.
And going to Dalworth Elementary, beginning in your schooling there, do you have in just the elementary grades the favorite teacher and favorite subject or two that you'd like to talk about?
I've had several favorite teachers in Dalworth because it was a community school,
Yes.
and all the teachers lived in the community.
Oh, isn't that good?
It was great. It was awesome. And the one I really admired the most was my first grade teacher, Betty Love.
Betty Love.
Betty Love.
Yes.
I've had Miss Love. I've also had Miss Jefferson, Ruby Jefferson.
Oh, and isn't she a dandy? And
She-
she retired a couple of years ago from Eisenhower
Yes, she did.
Elementary.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
And I was also influenced by Delmas Morton. I had him as a teacher.
Oh, wonderful. And he became principal of Austin Elementary and right on down the line, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Delmas comes from a very, very important family also. The Martins have a real historic record in the city of Grand Prairie, Texas.
So does Sally Moore.
Oh,
Sally
and
Moore, there was a time.
oh, yes.
Mhm.
And so you have all of those, but your favorite principal had to be
King David Daniels.
King David Daniels. Why did he impress you so?
Well, he was a man of class,
Yes,
and he didn't settle for failure.
yes.
He didn't let you fail. It was something about him that when he said something that you paid attention to him.
You didn't dare not walk the line, right?
No, because I knew that he would take care of it.
Yes.
And, we had so much respect, growing up at that time and era of teachers and what teachers said and administrators said, it goes. Because you had the community backing.
And after elementary school, were you still in the old Alworth High School?
No, I attended Jackson Middle School.
Okay,
did.
let's get down Jackson Middle School.
Mhm.
That is good. And at that time in Jackson Middle School, you had a principal,
Sure did. Had Mr. Blanchard.
Mr. Blanchard, Don Blanchard.
Sure did.
Oh, that's right. We call him Coach Blanchard
Yes,
a
that's
lot,
what
don't
we
we?
called him too.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
All right. And in Jackson Middle School, how about teachers?
Oh, several teachers. Oh, I can remember, one in particular, and it was the first gentleman we seen that large, and he happened to be a white gentleman, was Pete Thompson.
Oh, Pete.
Coach Thompson.
Yes.
He
And he was at Jackson before he went to South.
because
Yeah.
it was Jackson Junior High.
Oh, Jackson
Yeah,
Junior
He
High.
was 7th through 12th at the time.
Okay, let's
before they
get
built
that
South
squared
Grand
away
Prairie.
because we don't want to think it's Jackson Middle School.
Oh no! At the time it was Jackson
Junior
Junior
High.
High School,
Uh-huh.
and it was the high school was still with us.
Uh-huh.
They was in another part of the building, and then a couple of years later, that South Grand Prairie was finished, and they moved over to South Grand Prairie.
So y'all had the big dogs on your campus
Yes,
for a
ma'am.
while, didn't you?
We sure did.
Oh, that's great. And of all of the teachers that you had, can you pick a couple of favorites other than
Coach
maybe,
Thompson was probably the favorite because
is
he
it,
demanded so much.
were you into sports then?
In the 7th grade, no.
All right.
I got into sports probably going into the 8th grade, 9th grade,
Uh-huh.
and I had gentlemen in my life because, like I say, my father was a truck driver.
Yes.
But unique men in my life: Charles McKenzie, Chubb Hendricks, Bill Terry, J.R. Hall.
Oh,
They had
yes.
started a football team.
Yes.
The Little Packers.
Yes. Oh,
So
the
I was
little
a part of
Packers.
that process.
Didn't-
And learned so much from those men about discipline and hard work and determination. And that's what got me into sports.
We just lost Mr. Chubb Hendricks.
Yes,
and,
we did.
And it was such a tribute to name the parking lot back of the entrance to the Gopher Warrior Bowl in his honor. And there's a great big sign out there that says Chubb Hendricks. Isn't that
Very
what?
well deserved.
Yes, it really was. It's
Very well.
wonderful.
And those men really influenced my life as far as athletics.
Yes. But now, for your regular schooling, for your academics, I know you love sports and all this, but just one or two favorite subjects that we're still in the, junior high.
Okay. I would have to say Miss Hand.
What did she teach?
She taught drama.
Oh, great.
Yeah, she taught me a lot about public speaking and
Yes.
plays and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it English. And I had a teacher there, Georgianne Farr.
Oh, she is tremendous.
Georgianne Farr was my favorite teacher because she was my hardest teacher.
She is tough.
Yes, she is. I mean, I had an afro back then, and I wanted to sit in the back of the room and
Yeah.
sit.
Uh-huh.
So I could tip my afro, but
Yeah.
she wasn't having it.
Yeah, she wouldn't have it.
No, she said you got to sit in the front. And she learned me to go to the library and
And to
write
do
a
all that
paper. Oh,
reading
yes,
and
you know.
write those
card
papers.
catalogs, you know it. You know, we
Oh.
had to do it by hand back then.
And do you
more than
know she
electronic.
has more kudos from the Boys and Girls of the Month that come from Grand Prairie High School now than any other teacher in all of the interviews I've done. She is the top teacher that say she is my favorite because she's tough, but she is fun.
She's fun. She's fair, and
Yes.
she made us get it.
That's good.
She made us get it, and it paid off, paid dividends when I went to college.
And when you left junior high, went over,
South Grand Prairie.
was it already built? Was
Yes.
it? Were you the first class or the second class?
We was the first class because the year we moved up,
Yes.
they moved the ninth graders up too.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, we were sophomores, and the ninth grade came in right with us that year.
Oh, that was good.
It,
So,
it was real nice.
who was your
because
principal at South? then?
Gene Head.
Gene Head.
Gene Head.
That little
Mr.
rascal.
Head. Yeah.
Used to be a tennis teacher at Grand Prairie High School, and then became a principal and a very fine man.
Yeah, we had Gene Head and Don Murphy,
Yes.
and also Buddy Berry was there.
And Buddy.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I tell you had the cream of the crop
I
at
did.
South
I've
there
been
for.
around some good people.
And then they moved them around to all these other places and spread the wealth of good principals,
Yes,
didn't
ma'am. They sure did.
That's
and,
great.
Buddy Berry was very instrumental in my career.
they? All right. Favorite teacher, favorite subject at South.
I would have to say, man, we had so many good teachers, but I think history was one of my favorite subjects.
Wonderful.
With David Easterling.
David Easterling. Oh, that's good. All of these are very important names in the Grand Prairie Schools catalog of names of people that have been here. That you've had some really fine educators to sit at their feet, haven't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Been around, I believe, throughout my life the best.
You graduated in what magic year from South?
1977.
1977. 27. So that's historic, and that's also very wonderfly religious, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Very blessed.
That's very blessed. Okay. And when you left South, did you feel lost, not being a warrior anymore?
Well, a little bit, but it was time to grow. And
It was time to
go
grow.
because I had people like Charles McKenzie and Pete Thompson and people telling me that I need to go.
Need to
that I
go to college.
Go to college and
Mm-hmm.
make something of my life.
All right. And so where did you go?
I ended up going to Eastern New Mexico University.
Eastern New Mexico University. Isn't that exciting? Yes. What'd your mama think about you going all the way over to New Mexico?
Well, she was very excited because I had turned down a couple of scholarship offers at the Southwest Conference,
Yes.
and they had one left.
Uh-huh.
And I went out and earned a scholarship, 4-year scholarship.
4 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's not a real famous college, but aren't you glad you got to go?
I am very blessed and fortunate to be able to go and have
All right. And when
that
you
opportunity.
when you got there the first couple of years, I'm sure you didn't know what your major was, but what did you finally end up with a major?
Well, I got into, I had a great mentor there, Jack Scott,
All right.
and I wanted to become a teacher and coach.
Yes.
So I got into the physical education part
All right.
and wanted to coach, and was able to pursue that degree and get it.
Yes.
And then after that, I came back to Grand Prairie.
Then you came to Grand Prairie with all of this big diploma, and here I am. And what happened to you then?
Well, I applied for a job. And,
All right.
was able to interview with Don Pennick.
All right.
Yeah, he was personnel director at the
And
time.
did you know he's still active in our bond committee for the schools at the Grand Prairie ISD? I see Pennock there, and he is taking all of this in very carefully.
Very knowledgeable man.
Very, very knowledgeable, isn't he? Okay. And what happened?
Well, my first job, Buddy Berry hired me
Oh, he did.
at Jackson.
At
I
Jackson?
was able to go back to Jackson.
You went back to your old, what was then middle school, not middle school, but Jefferson Junior High?
Jackson Junior High.
Jackson
Yes, ma'am.
Junior High. Okay. What happened?
Well, I was a coach and teacher for Buddy, and he was a great person and a great mentor. You know, you just wanted to do good. for
Other
him.
than coaching, what did you teach?
I taught physical education.
Oh, that is good.
Mhm.
That was your perfect setup, wasn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
Yeah, and Buddy Berry caused it all.
He caused it all.
Oh, that is good.
He
Well,
caused it all.
when I see Jane and Buddy the next time, I'll tell them that you lauded and applauded them.
Well, they're great people and been very instrumental in my life
Yes.
and in my career. Because
How'd
after
you feel
leaving
about going
Jackson,
back to your old school?
It was great
Yes.
because I was able to touch on some things and tell some kids some things.
Mhm.
at
I've
that
been here in the
point time.
past. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's education is important.
Yes.
You know, and it's the gateway to your future.
Yes.
And fortunately, a lot of them listen.
And after Jackson?
South Grand Prairie High School.
Oh, you did move on over to the big
I
campus.
moved over to the big campus.
And what'd you do at
I
South?
was coaching and teaching PE again at South Grand Prairie.
That is good. And who are your favorite mentors during that time when you were there as a real good teacher at your old alma mater?
Georgia and Farr and some of the people that had been there, and Buddy was still mentoring, and Vern Alexander was part of
Oh,
that
and Vern had
process.
gotten
Dr.
on the scene
Alexander.
then.
Yes, he was there with us at Jackson
Yes.
and at South Grand Prairie.
Okay. I know that you had your athletics, and that had to be a stem winder for you. But how about your other activities? Were you in charge of anything else?
Well,
Did you have any clubs under your direction, or
no, not during that time. I didn't.
during that time?
No, ma'am. I was back in high school. I was a senior class president.
Well, that helped. Mercy.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but it happened. But it was a good experience.
That was wonderful.
Hmm.
That was a salute.
But other than that, no, I was very involved and have been involved in athletics and trying to mold kids and get kids, you know, interested and involved, because
Yeah.
it helps a lot of kids that's at risk
Yes,
to keep them in school.
yes. That's very, very critical time for some of them, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And then after South?
Well, I was convinced and talked into going into administration. I went to Grand Prairie High School. in
And
89.
you crossed the line from the way
Warriors.
back down to the Warriors, and you became a subjective gopher.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yes, I did.
How'd you like that transition?
At first, it was a little shaky because my daughter was going through the school process at that time and
Yes.
going north rather than south.
Yeah.
We was very competitive with one another,
Yes.
and
mhm.
but after my friends got over it, because
Okay.
that's where the eagle flies,
Yes.
and it became a very rewarding situation because at Grand Prairie High School, I was very young at the time as administrator,
Yes.
but I had again, Buddy Burger, he's so awesome, and that's why they call him the chief.
Yes.
Was able to mentor me and guide me in the right direction.
Were you there on athletics again?
No, ma'am, I was the assistant principal.
Assistant principal.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, that's where you got some of that real great training, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Academically and moving kids forward to graduation and keeping them involved in school.
What has happened to you with the family way during all of this time? Are you still single?
No, ma'am. I'm
Or
been married for
where in all of this transition did we find someone that was perfect? Yes.
No, I've been married to Tina for about 26 years now.
And it's Tina,
Yes, Tina.
Miss Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful, beautiful lady.
Well, thank you.
What does Tina do?
Right now, Tina is, she just came back from Florida. She spent some time there with my mother-in-law and
Uh-huh.
my daughter. My daughter lives in Florida since
Uh-huh.
graduation,
Yes.
and she's a paralegal,
Yes.
and she's going to pursue that avenue continuously, or get back in the school system, because when she was here,
She was a teacher at one time.
she was secretary at
aide.
Grand Prairie High School,
Mhm.
9th grade campus.
Mm-hmm.
And
That
she
was
wants to get back
wonderful.
in the school
Yes.
system or continue paralegal.
Well, we salute Tina because she knew how to pick a fine young man, didn't she?
Well, it took a
Vice
lot of,
versa.
a lot of dedication and determination on the part, because there was a lot of time spent away from home,
Yes.
because
mhm.
there's no business like school
Mhm.
business.
Right. And your family, do you have children?
Yes, I do. I have a daughter. She's 24 years old.
24, and her name is?
Arnitris Harrison.
Spell that.
Arnittrice.
What an unusual and beautiful name.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Any more children?
No, just the one.
Just the one? Oh, she is so pampered, isn't she?
Yes.
Aren't you
Yes, she
glad?
is. I'm glad. I'm
Yes.
glad.
And
She's a joy of my life.
and she is in Florida. What does she do?
Well, she graduated Florida A&M University
All right.
in Tallahassee, and she worked for NBC for a while, and now she's ventured out her own marketing company.
Good.
Hmm.
That's wonderful. And stationed where in Florida?
In Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee.
Can't
Oh,
get
okay.
that girl out of Tallahassee.
Oh, that's up near the top of the Florida, and that's the best part. You're away from so many of the hurricanes and things, in a sense of the word.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that sounds like a wonderful family, a great time. And from Grand Prairie High School, how dare you leave the Gopher Land?
Well, I was there 9 years. And,
9 years at Gopher Land.
mhm, and I became a gopher, and really admires in the north side of town.
Yes.
And the things that's happening.
Yes. And then what?
to the central part of town. Went back to my elementary school.
Went back to your elementary,
Went back to, now is David Daniels Elementary Academy.
but it is the academy, first academy we had in Grand Prairie,
ma'am.
wasn't it?
Yes, ma'am. We were very instrumental.
You
in
made
getting
a
it together.
wonderful mark at that school.
Well, very blessed. Very blessed with
Yeah.
good people in the direction that we were going and the direction the kids needed to go. Had good people, and at the time the board was really instrumental on, getting a new school and making
Yeah.
things happen in that community.
They sure did clean up that corner.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, but they did keep some of the old buildings so that we have that historically, and that is really wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
it is.
when we go by that corner, we can still see David Daniel either driving the bus or running things.
Yeah, I'm taking care of something out there in that yard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of all of the classmates that took you through all of your schools from Dalworth and all the way till you graduated from South, is there one or two people that you keep in touch with that really have been meaningful to your career? Not to your growing up, but to your career now. They still give you support.
Yes, one in particular, Craig Hall and Robert Hope.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we grew up since 8, 7 years old and together, and yeah, we still instrumental in each other's career and processes of getting better and how we can become better to serve the kids of Grand Prairie.
And Robert Holt comes from such a splendid, splendid family also, so isn't that great?
Yes, ma'am. It takes a village to raise kids, and
Yes, it does.
and we was fortunate enough to have that.
Yes.
Because if I wasn't at Robert's house, I was at Craig's house.
Now,
And vice versa.
did your paths cross with Sally Moore as an administrator? Did you all ever work together in the same school, the same team or anything? Or was she a little bit ahead of you in your administrative duties?
Sally was a
Counselor.
associate superintendent
Yes.
at the time that I was in Grand Prairie. She
Oh.
was very instrumental in my career because when it was decision time to move out of coaching,
Yes.
they called her.
Uh-huh.
She was the one that called me and said, hey, if you're going to continue to influence kids' lives, then you're going to have to do it at another level and you reach more kids.
Good.
And so that was a thought process there as well as putting the good Lord in that process too. But every time it's been her. She says, hey,
That's it.
now you got to go to Daniels and you need to go help those kids out there and they need you. So go grow, and I listen to her a lot as far as that goes. She's a super lady.
Now, your greatest accomplishment while you were at the academy.
Well, we became a recognized school.
All right.
Yes. We became a state recognized school when a lot of people said it couldn't be done.
Yes.
But over time and with expectations.
You had
Anything can
some
happen.
super group of teachers and other helpers that help you attain that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Always good teachers. It
Yes.
starts in the trenches.
Yes.
And, I tell those teachers even now, we're doing some phenomenal things at Adams as well. But at Daniels, it was like, in any means of education, teachers are surgeons, brain surgeons.
Yes.
And every day they perform brain surgery.
Yes.
They just don't get paid like brain surgeons.
Yes.
I wish they did.
Yes.
But they do. They are very instrumental and have been instrumental in this whole process of moving kids and having kids improve. And I've been fortunate to be around some great
Yes.
teachers.
After bringing the academy to the top, what kind of a shock was it when they said they was going to move you to a secondary level?
Well, I didn't want to leave Daniels, because I had got
Yes.
kind of settled there. And
You had
things was-
everything all in place.
It was going great, and we was looking forward to becoming an
Exemplary school, yes,
And,
uh-huh.
That was the shock there, because I know we was on the verge of something very big
Yes.
there. But to go and be able to help another campus or another school in Grand Prairie,
Yes.
I'll do that.
Yes.
I'll do that at any time, at any point, because again, my mentor Buddy Berry said you got to go where you're most needed, especially if it's going to help kids.
Yes. One thing about it, when you got to your new school at Adams, I believe the leopards are there, or panthers,
The Panthers.
another black animal, but this
Yes.
is the right one, the panthers.
That's right.
And I understand that you looked out your window and thought it was a mess. What? When you went to Adams, you started cleaning up, fixing up, painting up, and changing things.
Well, you can be old, but you can be clean.
Yes.
And kids appreciate that as well as
Yes.
the teachers. And yes, we're going to clean up the environment first.
I heard about your garden outside your office, that it is just spectacular. And of course, keep Grand Prairie beautiful, keep
Right.
Texas beautiful, keep America beautiful. They know about your garden too, don't they?
Yes, Lucy Brown was very instrumental in that.
Yes.
In keeping Grand Prairie beautiful. We won a national award for that.
Yes, you did.
And the green team on the campus has been excellent.
That is great. We're looking forward to other great things that y'all are going to do there because you're becoming a spotlighted campus. When you win one thing, they really look to you for more. And what about these spotlighting on people? I understand that you are the top principal wins a state award, and I have a picture of you in the paper and all of the good things. What happened to you all of a sudden getting to be a celebrity?
Well, I wouldn't call it a celebrity. But it's really an honor to be honored by the Texas Classroom Teachers Association.
Yes. That's a state entity.
Yes, it's...
Who nominated you?
Oh, well, Gina Gola did.
Gina.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's the president of one of the organizations at TCTA here in Great
Yes,
Britain.
yes.
She had told me that she had started work on me when I was at Daniels.
Yes.
And I had no idea. And then when I went to Adams,
Yes.
we turned some things around there.
Good.
John Dubisky, a super administrator and best friend of mine, was able to, I brought him out of retirement to come help me because
Yes.
you need people that really have the best interests of the kids and the staff in mind to make
And
things
have the
happen.
feeling about the campus.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's a good campus. It's a great campus with great teachers.
Uh-huh.
And like I told them, I wanted them to be recognized and be exposed for the hard work that they do. And we work very, very diligently on that daily by being a resource for the teachers.
And
Because
this
they know what they're supposed to do in the classroom and they're good at it. I just want to be an added resource to them.
and now that things are going a little bit better for you, are you pretty pleased with Adams Middle School?
I'm very happy with Adams Middle School.
Do you have a wish list, a list of things that you want to happen now, or have you checked off almost all of those and you just maybe have one or two left?
Well, I do have a couple of things that I just want the kids to be recognized for their hard work and efforts, and the teachers. And for that to happen, like I told them, I want their names on the state roll, national roll,
Every row.
every roll.
Every good roll.
Because they deserve that.
Yes.
As hard as they work and the time they put into it, they're very deserving.
All right. Now, you've been named as the winner of this award.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have it in hand yet?
No, ma'am. I'm going to receive that award on March the 3rd.
March the
in
3rd
Austin.
in Austin.
Yes, ma'am. We have to be
Oh, going to the big town where all the legislators are.
there. Yeah, I suppose so.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to go to Austin, and I'll receive the award there.
Is that a Texas Classroom Teachers big meeting, an
Yes,
annual
ma'am.
meeting?
It's their conference.
Oh,
their
it
annual
is.
Conference, and they present myself and the elementary person.
Yes.
State of Texas back at Austin.
Now, I would have imagined you being real big in the elementary, but boy, did you surprise us when secondary schools, that includes every middle school, every junior high, every high school in the state of Texas, and you make a figure on how many people that covered, and you're the #1 person.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I've been blessed.
Oh, you
The
have
Lord
been
has
blessed.
been good, but I've been around good people, and that's a true value. Being around good people, having good people that I work with, not work for me, but work with,
Uh-huh.
and it's been great. But having that secondary experience coming from high school, those 9 years, and being with the best,
Yes.
and going back, paid dividends.
Well, we're down to where we have only 1 minute left on our interview. I'd like for you to look out and just let the kids know that it can happen to them if they'll work hard, and say it quickly.
All you have to do is continue to work hard, be proud, and take full responsibility, and respect yourself and respect others, and understand that failure is not an option. You can make it. And I want to thank you, Ms. Jackson, for having me. It's been an honor being with you this morning.
It's been an honor having you on the set today, sir. And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do, and that we document it correctly. Thank you for being with us.